All right, YouTubers, welcome back to DB Bassin with DB. Check it out. Today, we have a lot of questions that we need to get answered. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it. I got one question. One of the questions I have them written down right here because I don't want to miss anybody, or I don't want to miss giving any valuable information that we need for the anglers and my followers and my subscribers. So we want to make sure that we get everybody's question answered as best we can possible. All right. The first question is from one of the subscribers or one of the followers. We talked about worms. One in particular is the wacky worm style. All right. The question was, do I use weight or something like that for the wacky style? Well, I can tell you right now, you can use weight for the wacky style. Now, there are a couple different ways you can do this. One of the ways that they rig it is called a nico rig, and it's pretty much taking a weight and stick it in the end of the worm, preferably be the head of the worm. So basically, let's just take for instance, we take a nail weight, as you can see there, and take the worm and stick that nail weight straight into the worm like this. Like that. So basically, however fast you want that worm to fall, you could either break this weight in half, it's just lead. You could either break it in half, or you can basically leave it whole. And what that does is actually make the worm fall down like that. And you can take the hook, keep the hook in the same position, and you can dangle that tail like that. And that'll kind of get them fish biting too. Preferably, again, we fish these colors like this in pretty clear water. You don't have to fish it in clear water. But the thing is, you want to be throwing it around some cover, around or fish bed or something like that, where they bedding or on a bed where you've located them. And so what that does is actually get that worm to fall pretty quick. And once that worm get down on the bottom, it'll kind of hold that worm down there while you kind of dangle that tail. And that'll make them fish come unglued on that bait and get bit. All right. That's one way. And preferably they call that the nico rig. But it's just a weighted wacky style, weighted in one end of the worm, which have become very popular over the seasons. All right, that's one way, nail weight. And the other way, let me see if I can find this hook. I just want y'all to know I got a ton of different hooks in that little box. If you haven't saw the last video, go back and check the video, and I kind of held that box up and showed that's just my terminal tackle, and I got a lot of different hooks and techniques I can use in there. Now, the other way is a weighted wacky hook. Now, if you check that hook out, it's just like, well, let me see, that hook, basically. It's just like that hook. See? So basically, instead of putting that hook, I'll put that hook through the worm. And notice that hook has a weed guard as well. And it's because I like little fine weed guards on these hooks. And you pretty much hook this hook the same way that this hook is in there. All right, so let's just do it real quick. I'm going to undo this one, and then we're going to come back and rig this one. Just undo it real quick. Ouch. If a hook do not make you say ouch, throw that thing away. As tough as my hands are, hey, look, if it don't poke through here, that's not the one I want to fish with. I want to fish with the one that make me say ouch. All right. So check it out. Again, you just take this hook right here. Here we go. That's the weighted wacky hook. It's like a 2-aught maybe. And you take it and the same thing, you just stick it through the egg sac. Well, I'm trying to get it. Let's see if y'all can see that. Put it on the bottom. Push it through. And that's basically the weighted wacky hook. And that's pretty much what you have. All right. Now, hopefully that answered that question, so that we can move right on. And we want to make sure we get everybody's question kind of answered. All right, we're going to move right along. The next question is, how do I fish those worm techniques that I had? All right, I'm going to try to give a little quick, simple, and try to make it, smooth and understandable as I can for my followers and for my subscribers, so that we can try to get some more fish caught. All right. So let's just take, being that we was on the wacky style, let's go ahead and talk about the techniques with that. All right. First off, I'm gonna team that up with, most guys team it up with, say, preferably on a spinning gear. Okay. Preferably on a spinning gear. I like to use, me personally, I like to use a 7 to a 7.2 medium rod with a fast action tip, because I want to load up on that fish. I don't want to set the hook on that fish. You just want to load up on that fish. A fast action tip helps you load up on that fish pretty good. All right. So what I would do is basically team this up. I fish Nanofield. Nanofield is a line that's specifically made for spinning reels. I like to fish Nanofield. They got a 17-pound test that's got like a 10-pound diameter, maybe even smaller than that, probably 6-pound diameter, and it's kind of green, so it kind of disappears pretty good. But what I like to do is throw that thing out there. Let's just say it had the normal regular hook on there, like this one. And that's pretty much weightless other than the weight of the hook. So I would literally throw that worm out there. If I'm throwing this worm, just know that I'm throwing it at a bedded fish that I can see with my eyes, or I'm throwing it to a spot or some kind of structure where I think a fish will bed. And understand that this worm is actually for you to see, and the fish can see it, but it's actually for you to see that fish eat it. Okay, that's why these loud colors are the way they are. Not so much just, ooh, a fish can see that color. No, it's really for you to see, and because the fish can see it regardless. All right. So with that style hook on it, I'm just gonna throw that worm out there, and it's gonna float at first, and then it's gonna sink real slow. And as it's sinking, I'm gonna give it like a twitch. All right. If I do that a few times on that bed or a target that I think a bed would be, I'm going to do that cadence first. I might start out with a twitch. But with whatever cadence you start first, make sure you switch the cadence up. If you throw it out there and you fish a bed or a spot or a target for, 10, maybe 12 minutes and you're not getting bit, well, go to the next target and mix your cadence up. Go twitch, pause, twitch, pause, twitch, pause, twitch. And you repeat that. You got to remember how you're getting that. What cadence are you doing? Because whichever cadence you're doing and you get bit, then that's the cadence that's probably going to work for you throughout the day. So let's just say you go twitch, and that fish crush it. Boom. You need to remember what you just done. Twitch. That's when you're going to get that bite almost every time. Because a lot of time cadence describes how that fish want it. And you always got to let nature tell you how they want it. All right. So that's the way you fish that. All right. Let's just say you got this weighted hook in this wacky worm. All right. So you're going to take this weighted hook, throw that worm out there. Same thing. Of course, it's going to sink a whole lot faster. And a lot of times when that worm sinks kind of fast, you're probably going to get a reaction strike first. That's the difference between fishing this hook and fishing this hook. So you do a little bit of mixing up and see where you're getting your strikes, whether it be getting your strikes from a cadence or whether it be getting your strikes from a fast fall with a wacky worm, which is sometimes unusual because anglers don't fish that way. That's the way you want to fish, and that's the way you want to stick with it. And if that's the way, let nature tell you how they want this. Let them tell you if they want it like this, or let nature tell you if they want it like this. Whichever way it tells you, you need to remember, what did you do in cadence or in weight change, how they bit it. And I hope that helped you with that wacky style worm and in catching more bass. All right, let's move on to the next real quick. We rigged up a spot remover on a ribbon tail worm such as this one, just like a power bait. This is basically a Berkeley power bait worm. I love power bait because I'm a guy that's big on scent. I believe that scent helps me catch a lot of my fish. All right, especially when they pressured. Now, here we are. I'm going to team this up probably on, I usually fish this on some mono, sometimes braid, really thin, but I'm probably going to fish it on a really thin diameter. Whatever I'm using is going to be a thin diameter. If it's really clear water, I'm probably going to be using mono, and it's probably going to be anywhere from 12 to 14 pound test because I'm flipping that thing in some gnarly stuff because I really want to get bit by big ones. All right. If I'm fishing it in kind of dirty water, stained water, and especially where I fish it, I'm probably going to fish it with some, I don't say 50 pound braid with a 12 pound diameter. I kind of like that diameter to be small and thin so it can kind of disappear from the fish. All right. Now, with that being said, when you throw this worm out there, remember, when it hits the water, do not engage that reel. Peel line off of that reel. Peel it off. Do not engage it. If you engage that reel when you throw it out there, you're going to go click and that worm is going to swing like this. And what that does is pull that worm out of the strike zone. You do not want that worm out of the strike zone. You want it to stay in the strike zone as long as you can possible. All right. And there's going to be a video where I'm talking about how to keep your bait in the strike zone. But right now, I want to tell you about how to fish this worm. What you want to do is throw this worm out there, let it hit the water, peel line off so that it dead falls like this. You want that worm to dead fall. And when that worm hit the bottom, boom, it's going to probably stand up like this and the water keep that worm like this, which may cause a reaction strike. A lot of times you're going to get a reaction strike just because of the way that bait is falling natural. So remember that. Peel line off when the bait hits the water. If you had not got a strike when that bait hit the water, you peeling line off and it's dead falling and you haven't got bit, wait until it hit the bottom, then engage it, and then you slowly crawl it across the bottom. Real slow, like that. And when I say slow, I'm talking about you should be able to count rocks. You should be able to count twigs. You should be able to feel all the moss or whatever it is down there on the bottom that you're fishing. That's how worms act naturally in the natural world. See, we hop worms like this a lot of times. And that's not how you want to fish that worm because that's not natural to the big bass. All right. So what's natural to that big bass is that thing is crawling and moving along the bottom. That's what makes that big fish eat that worm a whole lot better. All right, cool. Let's move to the next one. Let's just take this stick worm, for instance. Remember, you can rig this stick worm wacky style like this and fish it wacky style, just like so, just like the last worm was. And changing up sometimes that profile, long worm to short worm, that also gets you bit sometimes a lot too. Now, but we're not going to rig this worm that way. What we're going to do is rig this worm this way. Now, before I go to this next rigging on this worm, because it's one of my all-time winning ways to rig this worm, this little 4-inch worm, straight tail, cigar worm, or however you want to call it. But I got a way that I rig this worm that I go to that I really catch big pressured bass on. So before I go to get you this secret, what I need you to do is go down there and hit that subscribe button, share this video so that I can get more followers and more subscribers so I can put out more and more secrets for my followers and my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. I like when y'all guys subscribe. I like when y'all ask me questions. That'll let me know what y'all want to talk about and what y'all want to hear about, which helps y'all catch more fish. All right, so let's get into it. With this worm right here, I like to take a nail weight. I'm big on nail weights. I mean, these things I use them all over the place. But one of the things I like to do with a nail weight, with a 4-inch Cinco, I like to take it and flip it down to the side that's kind of pointed. All right. So I'll take a nail weight. I'll keep it whole because I need that whole. I need that all of the weight from this nail to do what I need this bait to do. If I break this nail in half, it's not going to actually do or react the way it needs to react so that I can get that bite from that fish. Trust me, I've experimented with this for many years. All right, so what I do is I take the whole nail and push it in that tail. And what you want to do is keep it as straight as you can possible. Keep your fingers up on that rubber. And you see how it's going in there? And push it and keep threading it in there and leave your fingers there until you get it there. When you get it there, you push it just like that. And it's going to look just like that. Now, what you've just done is turn this thing into a yo-yo. I call it a yo-yo or a slingshot. I don't know. But I've put this thing in the water. I was always wondering, why was I getting so many big bites with the way I had it rigged up like this? Well, I put it in the water one day and I actually fished it or jigged it or yo-yoed it or whatever you want to call it to see what it was doing in clear water. So I had a swimming pool in the back. And so what I did is did that in the swimming pool. And I kind of saw what was going on with that thing. And just a light bulb just came on like, oh my God. That's why I'm catching them, because the erratic action that this bait was giving them fish, they could not resist it. So let me tell you what this bait does when you rig your hook in here. Now, let me show you how to put the hook in here so that you can get bit and what it'll do. All right, so what I would usually do is take I like to take an extra wide gap. I don't like the normal worm hook because it's not gonna set up on that fish for you like it needs to. I gotta find the right size. So the right size for this, in my opinion, would be a 3/0 extra wide Gamakatsu like that. All right. So what I would do is take that worm hook, just like so. And I would take that worm and I'm gonna rig it just like I'm gonna rig it Texas style. So I'm gonna put the worm in there, or put the hook in the middle of the worm, go down about 1/8 of an inch or whatever, push it out, push it around the worm, right? And then notice, just like your Texas rig, twist that worm like this, all right? So now you got it looking like that, you know? And so now you mark it, and you bend that worm and come straight through that worm like that, just like a Texas rig. And I usually just skin hook it. I usually just give it a little skin hook, just like that. All right, so it's usually straighter than that. But that's how I want that worm, just like this right here. All right, I hope you guys can see that. All right, now what's going to happen is I need the extra wide gap so that hook can pop out the worm, because I want to get it deep in his face. All right, so let me tell you what this worm does. You throw it out there again, peel your line off. Always give it a natural fall. When you give it a natural fall, they usually create good strikes from them big ones. They cannot handle it. So throw that worm in there, and when that worm hit the water, it does this. It does not fall like this. But for some odd reason, the way it's rigged like that, it glides down like a 45-degree angle. Now, here's the real kicker to how this worm and this technique catch a lot of big ones. When that thing hit the bottom, pull it up like this, it goes straight back 45 like that. That's why I call it the yo-yo technique. I don't know, because it does this just like that. It never does this. You pull it up and it fall like this. It never does that. It always go dark, like it's going back into their face. And they cannot resist that. Those big ones eat that thing. Me and a partner of mine was fishing about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was a springtime. It was pre-spawn, and he got broke off 3 times. We went back a week later. I caught all 3 of his bass with his broken worms in their throat with that technique. So that just let me know, turned on another light bulb. It was telling me, hey man, that technique is so deadly that these fish was pressured, these fish was under stress, and this technique still caught them fish. So this is one of my secrets that I actually go to when I need to get bit when I'm in a tournament and I know I'm having a bad day. This is one of my secrets I go to, and this is what get me paid a lot of times. All right. All right, YouTubers, I hope I help you answer that question. And real quick, I'm going to answer this question. Somebody asked me, where was the pond that me and my children went fishing in? Where is it at? Well, that's a pond that's down by the Wolf River off 240 at Warford, between Warford and Hollywood. You got to go through the woods and get through the woods, and you'll see it's all kind of little ponds and lakes over there. Now that the river is up, it's probably done got in there. So, but when the river go down, 240 between Warford and 240 down through the woods, you'll see lakes and ponds over there. And that's what that was the lake that we actually went into. All right. Hope that answered your question as well. Now, what are some good? This was another question that was asked, and I want to make sure I answer this question. A man and his wife met me down at Bass Pro Shop one day, and he subscribed to my channel. And if you get this video, I hope you do, man, I really appreciate you for subscribing to my video and asking me this question. One of the questions was, what are some good places to fish around here? Okay, Shelby Farms is a good place to fish around here. Go out there, several different lakes out there. You can go out there and fish and everything and have a ball. They're there, they bite, and you can take some of these techniques that I'm showing right here on all my channels to go out there and catch some of them big bass. Okay, that's one place. Martin Luther King Park, up in the park, there's a lake up there too that also holds fish, brim, crappie, bass, catfish, you name it. You can take some of these techniques and do the same thing. All right, we have Sky Lake Community Lake. Okay, it's a dam over there. Now, some of these lakes you got to get permission from, say, neighbors or somebody like that. And they'll normally say yes. And you just walk up on the dam and have a good time fishing. Places like Coral Lake and Robco Lake, you probably got to have a permit for those places. But these couple of places that I just named, these are some good places that you can go out there and probably get some good catching and catch you something to eat. And people will probably won't bother you. And you'll be okay with it, okay? All right, I hope that answered. And there'll be a couple other lakes that I name in a couple of upcoming videos, where to fish and how to fish them. Okay. All right. But for the time being, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. You're not gonna want to miss this next video that I'm gonna come up with, and I'm gonna talk about chatterbaits. I'm gonna talk a little bit about chatterbaits and how to fish them and how I fish them, along with some other stuff that I'm gonna be talking about. Again, giving away secrets. That's what we're on here for, and not spending a lot of money to catch those big bass with these secrets. All right, cool. All right, so YouTubers, I really thank you for tuning in today and tuning in for the channel. I hope that I've answered all you all's questions as best I can. If I didn't, I'll come back, ask me something else, and I'll come back and answer it to the best of my ability. All right, now remember, I get excited when you catch fish, not me. I'll see you next time.